Hi guys, welcome back to Geeks Bathhouse. Today we are working on some Valentine's Day cupcake soaps. I thought I would bring you along and show you making the embeds for the tops. We are going to be using a mold from another YouTuber. This is the Nerdy Nummies little mold that has the little 8-bit hearts on it. Those are the only ones we're going to use. We're not going to use the others. I have in here some clear melt and pour soap. I'm going to pop this in the microwave, start it melting down, and we will get going for our colors. We're going to be using Really Red from Nurture Soap. I also have some, you can't see the label anymore, but it is Merlot Sparkle Mica from Bramble Berry. And I also have some Crafter's Choice Super Sparkle Glitter we're going to add in, because what is Valentine's Day without a little bit of glitter? So I'm just going to show you the process of pouring a few of these. Probably won't show you all of it because I'll have to pour them all, wait, let them set up, and then do it again after I pop them out because I only have one of these molds. So I will hit the microwave and be right back. Alright, I have gotten our Really Red mica mixed in here pretty well. I'm actually pretty happy with this bright red color just the way it is. So I don't think I'm going to add any of the Merlot. I am going to add the glitter, however. Now, when you're doing melt and pour and you're stirring everything up, you're adding air bubbles in there. So the easiest way, okay, I'll show you in just a second. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Sparkly red, so you can see probably how I have all these air bubbles on top. Easiest way to get rid of those is to take your rubbing alcohol spray and just spray the top, and that will go ahead and just pop all your bubbles. So now we're going to take our mold and just gently pour into our hearts. Hopefully I'm right where you guys can see. There we go. Now it's really easy to over pour. That first one I got pretty spot on, but there, see? I knew they weren't all going to come out that nice. So there's only 2 hearts per row in this mold, so I will probably have to wait, let these hearts set up, and then pour some more, because I'm not sure how many hearts I want to use on the cupcakes yet, so I want to make sure that I have plenty. I ordered my molds off of Amazon, but I'm pretty sure that they carry them in most craft stores. I've also seen them in Walmart. It's so cold in here. The melt and pour is solidifying as I'm pouring it out. It's kind of crazy. There we go. And I think it's too hard to pour the last one, so I'll pop it back in the microwave. Give this a little, trying to give this one a little tap because it's not quite filled in all the way. But those are our embeds. I will see you guys momentarily when we are ready to do the cupcakes themselves. I have just mixed up my lye solution. It is very hot. I'm going to pour it slowly into this bowl where all of my hard oils are waiting. As you can see, this is a larger recipe than you have seen me work with before. We are going to be making some hopefully really cute 8-bit heart soap cupcakes today. Now, because this is a Valentine's Day soap, I've decided we're going to go a little more luxury with this recipe. So it's not your basic olive palm coconut that you have seen me use so far. This recipe has some rice bran oil instead of olive oil. It has cocoa butter, shea butter, avocado oil, as well as our basic sustainably sourced palm, that's important, and coconut oil. Now, if you're not super familiar with soap making, you heard me mention that I exchanged my olive oil for rice bran oil in this recipe. Bear in mind that any soap recipe that you use, if you exchange an oil, you always need to run it through a soap calculator. Oils do not exchange on a 1-to-1 ratio. Every different oil has a different amount of lye that it needs to react with in order to become soap. So it's very important that you don't just swap one out for another willy-nilly. You need to make sure that you're using a calculator, taking a look at that, and being sure that you're getting the right amount of lye calculated for your recipe. We are going to be using honeysuckle fragrance oil today. It is from Be Scented. I absolutely love this fragrance. It does not have any vanillin in it, so it shouldn't discolor our soap at all. From what I have seen of her videos over at A&N Suds and Such, this recipe, or this fragrance oil, I don't think is going to accelerate a whole lot on us, even though it is sort of a floral, which those tend to accelerate some. But I'm hoping we'll be okay. Since we're doing cupcakes and we're going to be piping on the top, a little bit of acceleration isn't going to kill us with this one. So I'm going to hit each of these with the stick blender. I have my hard oils almost all melted. You can see there's still some chunks I'm going to break up with the stick blender. And then I also need to mix up my liquid oils that have my additives in there. We have some colloidal oatmeal, some kaolin clay, and some goat milk powder. So let me just hit these real quick. All right, there we go. Now to mix our liquids with our once solids, I'm going to pour down the stick blender to try to reduce the amount of air bubbles I'm introducing here. Another change that we're making in this recipe that you haven't seen me do before is I have reduced my water amount so that I can add in some heavy cream. It's just whipping cream like you would buy at the grocery store, but that extra creamy fat makes a more luxurious bar. So we're going for a little bit extra luxury with this recipe. So I'm going to mix all of this together for a minute, then add in the cream as well. Here's my cream. So as I said, I subtracted the amount of cream from the amount of water so that I'm not introducing extra liquid to the recipe. Get all that in there. Give this one final stick blend, and then we'll get going. Alright, that's looking beautiful. I am going to hold off on adding the fragrance oil, and I'm going to add it to each color individually just to be on the safe side. Oh, let me show you real quick all of our embeds. I ended up doing a couple of different colors. So we have the red, the purple, and this beautiful pink 8-bit heart embeds that are going to go on the top of our cupcakes. The pink that I used is not going to be the same pink that I'm using in the cold process soap. I used a color from Bramble Berry that is not stable in cold process soap. It's only good for melt and pour and other projects like that. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I will leave a link in the description box below. But that's why we won't be using that pink again. So what I'm going to try to do here is not totally wing it, even though, you know, kind of winging it. I'm going to actually weigh out for our base cupcakes so that I hopefully have the right amount-ish for the bases versus the tops. I believe the bases are going to take about half of our recipe, about 15 ounces. So we will weigh out that portion. I'm actually going to weigh out more than that because I'm going to do the bases in purple because purple is my favorite color, so that's what I want to use. And I'm also going to use some purple for the tops. There we go. So that's more than 15 ounces. That's almost 20. So that should give us a good amount for the bases as well as to be one of the striped colors in the top. While I'm at it, may as well try to get these around the same amount. We're not going to be super fussed about it being totally accurate. The plan is to have purple, red, white, and pink. And we are going to do the bases of our cupcakes in purple with purple liners, you know. And also, then we're gonna stripe, kind of like we did in the Thor recipe, if you saw that one. If you haven't, I'll leave a link so you can check that video out as well. Click the little top corner and you'll see the eye pop up there for that video. And we're gonna stripe the top and do like a spiral pipe top, which, disclaimer, I am not an amazing piper, so I will do my best, but don't judge me too harshly. And there is our fragrance. I love it. Smelling like springtime up in here. All right, so let's start with our purple. We are going to use Grape Knee High from Mad Micas. I absolutely love this purple. It is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And of course, what is Valentine's Day without glitter? I'm gonna do some glitter in each color. So I'll just go ahead and plop some of this glitter down in all of these. We are going to be using Really Red from Nurture for our red. Do that in this one. This is a fabulous red. If you are a soaper, you know how difficult reds can be to achieve. Sometimes you find yourself mixing, you know, several different shades of reddish colors and pinks and trying to get that perfect red. Really Red from Nurture. Check it out. Now we're going to be using Strawberry Pink from Micas and More. This is the pink that we used in the Thor soap as well. I, if you remember, did my TARDIS soap and I was upset because I didn't have a pink, and I had totally forgotten that I have this pink. I was looking through my colors for Valentine's Day colors and I saw this and I was like, dang it, why didn't I remember that I had that when I did the TARDIS soap? Bummer. Alright, and then TD for our white. So I'm going to start by hand stirring each of these in, and then we'll go back and hit them with the stick blender, especially for the TD. It just mixes so much better when you hit it with that stick blender. Oh yeah, look how gorgeous that red is. It is a very true, spot on, like red. It's excellent. So if you're looking for a red, grab you some Really Red from Nurture. And then last but not least, our purple. Probably gonna need a little bit more mica in this one. Purples can be difficult to achieve. Sometimes they just go gray, like as you can see, and obviously I haven't mixed this in very well yet, but see how it's kind of a little bit gray there. Purple is another color that is kind of can be a struggle for soapers, but I do really like this Grape Knee High. Try to Make sure I scrape down the sides really well. I'm not going to add any more just yet. Hit it with the stick blender first and then see where I'm at. So I'll hit all these and then we will get pouring our cupcakes. Beautiful. I am loving these colors. Look how that purple came out. I don't know if the camera is really picking up the little bit of glitter that's in there, but it is so pretty. That white is staying very fluid. Usually your white thickens up a little bit faster than your other colors. For some reason, titanium dioxide just kind of does that. All right, let me get my little cutting board that I'm going to use as a tray for these. If I were to pour these right here on the counter, which I have made that mistake before, then how do you move them when they're full of wet soap? Bad idea. Don't make the same mistake I did. Use a tray. All right, I am just going to be using this little cutting board as my tray here. I believe I have 6 cupcake bottoms. I'm going to spread these out so that I have room to kind of pipe the tops. Well, I'll probably have to rearrange this situation a couple of times, but we'll get there. So, let's pour our cupcake bottoms. Oh, so excited about this purple. It is absolutely gorgeous. All right, I'm going to pour these a little bit shallow at first, and then kind of come back once I have an idea of how much soap I'm actually using. Because ideally, I would have these filled right up to the top. But I want to make sure I have enough soap. So what I did to get the number that I measured out on the scale was I just put one of these cupcake liners on my scale and poured water into it, because 1 ounce by volume of water also weighs 1 ounce. So I was trying to see what the volume of my little cups was. All right, so it looks like we actually did pretty darn good. Gonna come back in, top these off a little bit. I was comparing the amount of soap left in here to the amount in my other containers, and we're pretty close. There we go. Perhaps just a tad more in this one. All right. I'm gonna kind of move this to the edge of my counter where I can sort of tap it down a little bit. Spin it around and do the same thing on the other side. Perfect. All right, so now the task is to just wait until these are thick enough to pipe, and that, judging by the consistency that I'm seeing here, could be quite a while. I may be waiting 45 minutes to an hour before I can actually pipe these. So I will be back to show you that when they are ready. That is a good thing to note though for this fragrance. It does stay nice and fluid and workable. I did not use a water discount this time like we did last time, but I did add some sodium lactate to hopefully help these come out of the molds. So we'll be back. Okay, we are ready to finally get all of this piped. I say finally, for you guys it was a split second, but for me it's been almost an hour. After I turned the camera off, I did hit all of these with the stick blender again for quite a while to try to speed the process along a little bit. We are finally to a good thick pipeable consistency here. So if you haven't seen this technique before, this kind of comes from cake decorating. What we're going to do is we have a piece of plastic wrap here, and I'm going to line our colors out on here, roll them up, slide them into our piping bag, and that'll give us our multicolors in our piping bag. I'm using a Wilton 2D star tip for this one, so hopefully it'll be a little bit ruffly and pretty. I am debating the order that I want my colors to be in. I think that actually looks pretty good. So we're just gonna start by laying down one color at a time. Alright, I got you guys zoomed way in so that hopefully you can see what I'm doing and I can work directly over top and hopefully not pipe these totally crooked. So we're just going to go around and around and up, and that's kind of crooked, but piping is not easy. I give major credit to people who are excellent at this because it's not easy. It's a little bit easier to do from directly overhead, I feel like, but still, oh, that finally the colors coming through really nicely. See, I always end up with them kind of leaning. Practice makes perfect, though. I will get there. All right. So we had actually plenty of extra soap. So as you can see from the side, they're all crooked, but that's okay. We are now going to turn these into geeky soaps by sticking all of our little 8-bit hearts on. And I am not going to do these in any sort of rhyme or reason. Just going to kind of randomly poke them in there. And hopefully kind of maybe try to correct some of my leaning tower of piping. I'm cheating with my embeds here. Yep, that's definitely helping to kind of correct the lean. Okay, so if you can see, I've been working on this one here. See how far it's leaning over? I'm just going to take my embed and kind of stuff it in there and fix it. Yay! See? All's well. So I'm starting out with one 8-bit heart of each color on each cupcake, and then I will go back and add others if I have enough. This one is pretty wonky looking. These little 8-bit hearts came out super, super cute. The glitter in them is awesome. If you guys can kind of see that. They are really cute. I love them. Totally cheating on these, fixing my piping. So if you guys follow my Instagram, you'll see the pictures of these when they get posted, and you'll know that they weren't so perfect when I started. Alright, so let me see. This is where like my OCD comes into play. Because I want an even number of hearts. So I'm going to sort all of these out into little piles. Alright, so that is 6 8-bit hearts per soap here. I think that's probably plenty. I have a couple Actually, I have exactly 6 hearts left, but I don't think I'm going to use those. I'll just save them for something else. So there we have it, guys. Our 8-bit heart soap cupcakes. They are so cute. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate all of your support. If you are enjoying all of the videos, please give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you click that notification bell down there so that you get notified when I put out new videos. And of course, share with your friends, spread the geeky soapy love, and I will see you guys next week.